Dr. Adams, and I'll be giving a speech on why cigarettes should be banned. First and foremost, one may believe that smoking cigarettes help cope with things in life, but smoking only makes people closer to the grave. Cigarettes contain small tobacco leaves that have addictive substances in it. Even though marijuana shares some of the same substances, marijuana isn't as harmful, yet it is banned throughout the states. Even when the cigarette pack says that it may cause cancer on the box, it still isn't banned. Pregnant females that smoke are more at risk for miscarriages, premature labor, and ectopic pregnancy. It also makes the baby have a higher risk of sudden infant death syndrome and even behavioral problems later on in life. Cigarettes should be banned because it is the leading death in both men and women. It causes lung cancer. It's like major. It causes many other cancers. It causes larynx cancer, which requires you to have a voice box. It also requires pharynx cancer, which makes you have throat cancer. You have esophagus cancer, which makes you have a tube in order for you to eat, and it has to go through your stomach. So people that use it, they have all these sudden cancer problems, and you're like, oh, I'm on my deathbed. Why? Why smoke cigarettes when it's just killing you, putting you to the grave? So I'm going to share a story with you all of an incident of a lady that smoked cigarettes. She was pregnant. At age 13, I was the cool kid in town, the goth, hardcore punk of my day. Bad girl all the way. 17 years later, I have a great husband, which I couldn't live without, and the most wonderful son in the world. I almost died from smoking-related issues. How selfish of me to almost take myself from people who love me from their whole heart, and from a baby who hasn't even had the chance to enjoy his mommy. The coolest thing I could see myself doing was to stop. I always said, I can stop smoking anytime I want. I'm not that addicted. I can't count the number of times I try to put cigarettes down and just walk away. The second day of a quit would always result in me sneaking off to have that one last smoke, which was always hidden in the vent or the cookie jar, which never was used for cookie, just junk. Even during 8 months of pregnancy, I was too selfish to stop. I was very lucky that my horrible smoking did nothing to my child. My diabetes was worse for him than anything. But the birth of my child is where my horror story began. I spent 2 days in the hospital before I came home with my beautiful new baby boy. I had never seen anything so beautiful or sweet in my entire life. A week into being a new mommy, I had some trouble breathing. I went to the ER and was told that I was constipated. I was quite upset that they thought my bottom had something to do with my lungs. For 4 days in a row, I went to the ER and tried to tell them that I was sick. On the 4th day, I had my mother go with me. The last thing I have a clear memory of is the doctor and nurses getting me ready for the airline flight. I remember being put into the helicopter and looking up and seeing the face of my brother who had been killed in a car accident only 7 months earlier. I remember thinking, okay, this is it. At black, and when I woke up, it was almost a week later. I had tubes sticking out of me from every direction and this thing down my throat and machine breathing for me. As soon as someone noticed that my eyes were open, they started running around saying, "She's awake! Give her meds! She's awake!" I thought, no kidding. I'm awake. Don't knock me out. Just tell me where I am. I learned I had been sedated for several days because I would not stay calm. And the only time my heart wasn't racing was when they laid my child on my chest. The first thing I asked when I was able to hold a pen was, am I going to die? They assured me that I would be fine eventually. It seemed as though the only question they were concerned about was how long had I smoked. I found out that I had a pneumonia in both lungs and a cyst with its own blood supply. My heart and its cyst were pushing together and squeezing out what breathing space I had left. I spent the week in ICU to get rid of pneumonia enough to have surgery. Also wonderful surgery. I had 2 broken ribs, where they had to pull them apart to get to my lungs and a muscle that still would not go back in place. It took another week to recover enough to take out the chest tubes. I was sent home with strict instructions to never smoke another cigarette. 2 hours later, during our trip home, we stopped to see some relatives who had also smoked. I smoked for 5 months before realizing my lungs were starting to hurt on a daily basis and my breathing was getting very shallow. I couldn't sleep with my husband, but instead had to sleep in the recliner so I could sleep sitting up. I had enough. I didn't have much money, so my mom said that if I would try, she would be smoke away to help me quit. I agreed to it. It saved me. I didn't even do all the things it said. It was so easy. I just read the little book of testimonials every day and took the herbal pill 3 times a day. 3 days later, I was done. I even went through a very stressful day of being stuck in the car on the second day and did fine. I was amazed. She started smoking when she was 13, 17 years ago. That meant she spent approximately $20,200 on cigarettes. Her husband also smoked double that. He quit too, but he picked up the dipping. Yuck. So, the moral of that story is, this lady smoked. She had a son. Later on, maybe a couple of weeks, days after she had her son, she had to go to ICU, intensive care, because her lungs weren't working at all. So, why do we have cigarettes? If they know that they're hurting people, why insist on selling them? You have it on the box that it causes cancer, so why continue to sell it? So this is why I think cigarettes should be banned and never be sold again. If they're going to ban marijuana, they might as well ban cigarettes as well. Wouldn't you all agree?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yes.